in general, for inspiration, I try to avoid magic.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
If I'm creating magic, just because I see it a lot, especially like younger performers. They might not be young in age; they're just younger because they're newer in magic. They just kind of only are in the magic bubble. They go to the magic club, they do all their magic. That's just they see the same people all the time. They get the same influences.
Yeah,
it's like a robber. It's just a snake eating its own tail. It just goes round and round and round and round and round. And then we're all doing the same stuff, or it's all a bit dull.
So we have Mr. Alexander McAleer. Is that the proper way to say it?
McAleer.
McAleer.
Yeah, you go. Yeah.
So Alex McAleer. But you're also known by other names as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, indeed. Alexander Marsh is my pen name, my nom de plume.
And for people who aren't very familiar with you, you've been doing, would you say that you started more in magic or in mentalism in your beginnings?
Mentalism for sure. As in, I did a bit of magic when I was a little kid, like every kid. And then when David Blaine appeared, I maybe learnt a few card tricks. But mentalism is the bug that bit me rather than magic. I wasn't bitten by the magic bug. I was bitten by the mentalism bug.
And that's a little bit more like a non-traditional trajectory, because I think magic is maybe something that's exposed to the public in a more general way. Mentalism, I found, was something that I discovered via magic. Like I didn't even, it was a word or anything like that, And by doing a little bit of research on you, if I'm not mistaken, you lost your mother around the age of 14.
Yes, that's true. Yes, she passed away when I was 14, and also it's a bad time at any age,
Of
50,
course.
60, 14, 5, like it's a bad time at any age. But when you're a teenager, and I'm an only child, I am still quite shy, but very shy. So at that point in time when you're trying to find yourself and what the world means and everything, and then something like that to happen, it threw me, I guess, further into wanting to know about myself and other people. So I got into psychology. My dad bought me a book by a guy called Desmond Morris, who's very famous here in Britain, at least in the 70s, I want to say, 60s, 70s. He's an anthropologist and stuff. He wrote a book called People Watching.
Okay.
And he's also written like cat watching and stuff. But it tells you about the behaviors of cats. And this one's all about people. And it's really fascinating. And I also got some memory books, like about basic mnemonics. They don't teach them properly, though.
Okay.
Weird. I haven't gone into mentalism and learning real mnemonics.
It's basically like a code that basically you're able to remember to...
Yeah, it taught you like the 1 is a gun, 2 is a shoe, 3 is a tree. That visualization thing. There's also visual versions, and it taught you the Loki method, which is when you imagine a journey and you place items in your mind. But yeah, I just got really into that. And the back of that book had some suggestions of other books. And one of them was, I think, like 13 Steps to Mentalism. I was like, oh. And at the same time, 2000 and something, Derren Brown appeared on television here in the UK. And I just remember my dad saying, there's a guy doing cool magic stuff with the brain. You should watch it. You'd like it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I was like, this is great. Went online, Google, found out more stuff. I was just like, oh, this is cool. I like this. And yeah, and then it was just... so very early on, I was 100% a Derren Brown clone. Like I had velvet jackets. I think I even affected a little head twitch,
Before explaining the method, you have a glass of water.
Yeah.
He does that thing like he has a glass of water. you know?
Yeah.
But, and was there any correlation between, well, because like mentalism, there's a kind of like a field within that where it's like reaching out to the unknown to get information and stuff like that. Was there any correlation between that and the passing of your mother? Like maybe wanting to try to connect the contact?
Absolutely, yes, 100%. Because back then as well, in the early 2000s, digital television had become big. So suddenly everyone had many, many channels. Whereas before in the UK, we only had 4, maybe 5, depending on where you lived. But then there was all these, satellite cable channels that we had. And one was called like Living TV or something like that, which ironically had a ghost hunting show called Most Haunted. And it had like a medium called Derek Acora. And they go around haunted houses and he'd make up all this nonsense, obviously. And he had like his spirit guide was a Native American called Sam. Okay. And obviously he picked this story back when Native Americans it was a cool thing to have like a Native American. Wow, absolutely.
A shaman, real shaman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think maybe he was just tapping into that. But anyway, I used to really like those shows because I was sort of questioning that maybe, is it true? Is it not true? And as the further you go into magic mentalism, you start to realize the list of things that are evidence is slowly stuff. I'm still fascinated. I've always been fascinated by the paranormal. I still have the book from the 90s that I had it was called The X-Files, and I can't imagine they didn't call it that because The X-Files was huge. And it just has everything in it. It's got like spontaneous combustion, it's got the Yeti, it's got all those things in it.
You just said the thing that when I discovered that, because in my country, I'm from Canada, we had a show called Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes.
Oh my God. Seriously?
I'm sure we had it over here as well.
Explaining self-combustion? I freaked out. I was so afraid.
Yeah. When I was a kid, there were two things. Yeah, there were two things I was terrified as a child, which I didn't need to be. One was quicksand, because of the never-ending story, I think.
Where's Alex?
And then was spontaneous human combustion.
That is
I was just terrified of it as a child.
They showed the photo. It was like, like those old grimy photos where it's kind of like it could be fake, but it was like a chair with like burn marks of legs and it just burnt into the chair and into the carpet. And I was like, that is terrifying. Like, what happens? And they're like, it's a reoccurrence. They show like a couple. So I'm like, no, forget that. Like, I don't know what happened there, but I don't want to cause that in any way. Like, and we're not just about rubbing your socks against the carpet here and you just find it.
Just the static builds up. Got like a candle. But yeah, so I had like an interest in the paranormal. And then, that was definitely part of it. Me wanting to hunt into this world was definitely because of the psychic entertainment bit as well. And I just found it really fascinating. And I've always been a bit of a performer, like a class clown sort of thing, or a bit of a show. I did acting and stuff when I was a kid, like amateur dramatic stuff. And so it's just I saw it as kind of a merging of.
But see, that's what I found. What I found in your style is that you say that you kind of like you appear to seem like reserved and shy, but you seem at the same time to be like Machiavellian. Like you have like a little plan, like you're conniving something. Like a child when they have that look, like they know something that you don't know, and they're just leading you on the way. Like no problem. Like I'm just.
I think it's that I think maybe like an old primary school headmaster of mine said like you seem like quietly confident all the time. Like you're not quiet because you're shy, but you're thinking about something. Often like but like I said, like I like making people laugh and I like being quippy and witty. But if you're just a bit quiet, it means you can think of a few funny things first and then go, "That's one."
Exactly.
Don't go for the first thing on the whiteboard. Go for the you've workshopped it in your brain a bit.
Totally. I love that too, because sometimes it takes the person who receives that joke or that humor a half second to understand the layering, and you got me. Like they realize it after. So the basis of me reaching out to you and everything with this, we already did the recording, so I could already say that it was super good. On my fault, very bad recording. My bad. But I really I didn't want to put it out there with that kind of quality just because the content was so good. I really liked it. There was a lot of like great nuggets coming in there, and I felt also like the chemistry was fun. We were joking a lot, and I figured if we redo it, it would be beneficial for everyone else, and you were gracious enough to accept. So I really appreciate you taking the time a second time to
pleasure.
Yeah,
this happens to me a lot actually, because like I'm sure I told you this before. You know, with the 1914, I've done a couple of projects. One was that big stagecraft project. It's like a big 2-hour.
Remember? Yeah, got that.
Me talking about stagecraft and that sort of stuff, and we've shot it twice, because the first time was just in a small black box studio, but then Jack, who is Jack and D, set up the 1914. He's like a film director, and he was just like, content's really good, we can't just film him in a black void and expect people to watch this for 2 hours, so let's hire a theatre and let's do this again. And I was secretly pleased, because like, good, because actually and having done it once, I'd like to do it again, just so I know, like, I've got the vibe now. And there's something else we shot. I was like, oh, the Thy Will Be Done trick, the tarot card trick. Where the performance is with me and Lewis, I shot the explanation there as well with D.
Yeah.
But then in the edit, they were like, no, we can do this better. So let's take it to the studio. Let's do it again.
The explanation, not the performance.
No, the explanation.
Did he like, because it looks so genuine, like the performance.
Lewis's reactions and stuff. My favorite bit is when he goes,
it's natural.
I just worked out why it's 1914. It's just like, because he didn't, when we were designing the card, the time is
everything is great.
14 minutes past 7, and he I just got this 1914. So it's great. That's the first time he'd seen the card. He'd heard about it.
Things.
Yeah, it's really. Yeah, I really like. I don't do anything with tarot. I have a bunch of ideas and stuff with tarot, but I don't perform them. But I also release stuff, so I can release it or give it to someone else. Or,
No, but
anyway, I interrupted you. We went on a tangent.
But you went on. What's great about this project is because the tools that are required on it. Yes, it is a tarot card, but you don't necessarily start off that way. There's objects on it, and the objects that you have, they're in current use of what you could do in other performances. So right there, you've got segues. And without really revealing anything, there's details also on those items that are there that add layers for later on if you want.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you would think it's just a card, but the essence of it is what makes it marvelous. You know, it's like really a tool for something else.
Yeah. We didn't want to put too many things on it, but if they could be subtle enough that it doesn't really matter, it's not going to be glaringly obvious that we've made certain design choices for certain reasons, you can still just do the standard routine. But yeah, we added stuff to the back. It was good.
Cool. So basically, the project is called the Process. And in my research, my background is in graphic design and artistic direction and stuff like that. I've always been interested in developing ideas, but also what makes a really good idea, because anyone can have an idea, but at the end of the day, to take it and manifest it it's something else. And in today's culture and everything with YouTube and the quick streaming and everything, I find that we see the end result often and it looks so polished and finished, but we don't really understand all the steps that it took to get to that, you know? Like, it kind of always seems like it just appears out of nowhere and it's easy. And I find that, like myself, I have 3 children, low age, like around 10 years old. They're influenced by that, and I don't want them to get discouraged that they only see like the end result and they don't understand that there's hard work that goes into that.
Exactly, because this is my problem with the Got Talent show thing, where it's the idea that you just have either born with some sort of talent or you just don't have it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, there's the people that are good that are getting through it because they honed this talent.
Exactly.
You can be naturally good at something, you have to hone it as well. It's not.
Yeah,
I agree with this.
With a sharp knife.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just I agree with this concept to show. I like seeing the process. I like the process. The end result is kind of the least interesting part, really.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm doing this project with other people. Like I mentioned, there's 5 steps in the process, the creative process. So basically, it would be inspiration. So your day-to-day, what you do as a creative person, do you read a lot of books, do you go to cinemas, whatever. The second step would be incubation. So how you kind of like, do you set aside time in your day to kind of marinate ideas and brainstorm, or do you just go to your day-to-day and it kind of like hooks up by itself? Third step would be illumination, that eureka moment. So what happens in that moment? Does it happen to you and you have to stop everything and go to work until it's finished? Are you able to just take notes and get back to it? Like, how do you live that experience? The fourth step would be the exploration. So basically, how do you try to take that idea that you're in your moment and then break it down into something so that it turns into the step 5, the implementation? How do you turn that into like something maybe viable? For you, is success basically finding the solution to the puzzle? Like for you, is that enough? Or do you want to have it a life of its own and you want to market it? Like how does that end step? So step 1, basically, like we're mentioning inspiration. I think that you're, well, generally a creative person. So maybe on your day-to-day, what do you do to like keep creative? Do you anything in particular? Or?
There's nothing specific that I do. Like I know, like my good friend D, he tends to go for a little bit of a walk if he needs to think. And but also, it's any kind of anything to avoid staring at a blank page, either metaphorically or literally, just because there's nothing there. You need stimulus really to kind of get inspiration. But I try and listen to things that maybe I wouldn't normally listen to. So turn on the radio, like there's talk radio here, or just whatever's on. If I choose to listen to a podcast, I'm choosing to listen to those people, and that topic might not really be particularly inspiring because I'm just listening to 3 friends talk about Marvel movies.
Yeah.
So that's only going to occupy my mind with what I think and disagree or agree with them. But to try and keep kind of creatively focused, try to listen to something else in the background, just get the brain working, reading different things. Normally there's ideas or things that I need to work on. So like if I've got a show, I'm going back on the road in a few months, I need to work on these things. Maybe flick through a magic book. You know, those big, like the Tarbell big course of magic or the complete course of magic or something. You just flick through, and often I find myself just looking at the pictures, the illustrations, just to be like, there'll be something I'll be like,
for sure. It's for sure. Those books are great references.
Yeah, and they're less distracting than the modern equivalent, which is sort of going through penguinmagic.com and just flicking through just all the millions of tricks that might be there. Because then you get distracted and think about buying stuff. So you don't necessarily need to. But if you've already got the book, you can flick through it, and that's good. Or just sort of like reading bits and bobs. In general, for inspiration, I try to avoid magic.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
If I'm creating magic, just because I see it a lot, especially like younger performers. They might not be young in age, they're just younger because they're newer in magic. They just kind of only are in the magic bubble. They go to the magic club, they do all their magic. They see the same people all the time, they get the same influences. Yeah. It's like a robber, it's just a snake eating its own tail. It goes round and round and round and round and round. And then we're all doing the same stuff, or it's all a bit dull. So I just try to avoid that. I just try not to think about what things should be. Otherwise, you're just trying to make you want to do a prediction routine, you start going, well, it could be these 5 things that I know a prediction means. It could be a chest with a big roll of paper in it. It could be this, could be that. Like, no. Just not necessarily. If I try and get inspired, I don't try and think, of like an ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think of like something that I know would be absolutely impossible. People always say like, imagine literally anything and then try and find a way to make it happen. It's like, no, that's not possible. You have to you understand there has to be some sort of method if you're doing a magic trick. Yeah. So rein it in a bit. Like if you want the prediction to be inscribed on the moon, it's not gonna, you can't do that. Well, think of something that would be, well, that's true. It could be an app. Yeah, I just thought of a few ways you could do that. Like a viewfinder and one of the It's true, yeah. Yeah.
But no, I agree. Sometimes not focusing on magic stuff, like specifically, because you become influenced by the method.
Yes, or the technique. or the performer, or even the genre of magic. Like I like it when there's a method in something which just comes
exactly for what it was made for.
Yeah, I hate that. Like that's my thing of. Excuse me. I'm just getting over a cold, so I've got a bit of a. Yeah, I hate when. Like I like looking at a method or a prop or a thing and thinking, what does this actually do? So I released a trick called Forgotten Princess, which is the princess card trick. using the gimmicked version of that. And I was literally sat on a plane flying out to a show, and I had the gimmicks with me because I was thinking of a different idea for them. And I was like, what do these actually do? These switches, it was based on psychology. People can't remember stuff for long enough, that much information.
The goldfish effect.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So you're actually making them forget something. It's a genuine psychological trick. So what if you made them forget the card using exactly the same method? And then I realized, because one of the problems I have with those amnesia mentalism tricks is it's not really amnesia, because you've forgotten something, because when you remember it, there's a difference.
It's
not something you don't know.
The box it was supposed to be. You just have to get to it.
Exactly, yeah. You want that tip of the tongue thing, like, I know it. What? No, it's there. So with this method, you can bring the thought back, which I thought neatly solves my problem with the amnesia tricks. And and then it's like a good example of this is like an add a number pad, any version of it. It doesn't actually, you don't have to use it for adding up numbers. There's probably other stuff you could do, like it literally switches one piece of paper for another. Some of them even do it in the spectator's hand themselves, something they do switches it for you. So it's just like, well, think of something else to do with that then. You could do anything with that.
Exactly.
You could use words now, and then it could be a list of things that you could pump for, or something like that. It's not just an add a number pad, that's just what we call it, because we've prescribed the trick to it. You have to sell a trick with a prop.
Totally, yeah. Well, I hope even with this kind of project that people will see that these tools, like those elements, they're meant to be played around with. Like even the order, explain the 1 to 5. Like over discussions, I have people that don't even do it in that same order, I realized. They kind of like...
I see. Well, sometimes you start the process halfway along, the suddenly having the inspiration moment, half the eureka moment.
And then you're
and then you have to go back, or you start backwards, or you didn't realize something inspires you, but it gives you the eureka moment straight away.
I have a guy who builds the tools first. He has them on a shelf and he waits for the problem to appear.
I like that. Well, that reminds me that in one of the inspiration parts is if I have an idea, like a prop that could do something else, like, this does blank, but it could do, this does X, but it could do Y. I don't have a reason for this. I don't know how I would use that, but I'll make a note of it on my phone, I'll jot it down, or just make a mental note. And then I'll be confronted with a problem, and I go like, I have the solution for that. So I have a billet routine that I do with just 2 people and just 2 billets. And I felt so clever when I worked out how to do it and stuff. But then I was flicking through notes many years later, having done the routine for years, and I'm still doing it now. And I was flicking, and a couple of years after coming up with it and going like, I'm a genius, this is great. I was flicking through an old notebook, and I just did a little note. I was thinking I was trying to write a prediction with 2 billets. And I noticed in the corner, this could be used for mind reading if you do blank X, Y, Z. And I was like, I'd already come up with this trick before I even knew I'd come up with it. I just had forgot, or maybe part of me hadn't forgotten. I guess I had the idea initially, so I can have it again. But I was just like, I knew about this already.
Like you just said, like I kind of like that feeling when I discover something on my own, and I feel like, damn, I'm a genius. Like, but then after that,
walking around,
no, I'm like, fuck it. I'm so proud, man. And then you see something similar, crash. Like
yeah.
But then it makes me want to come back. Like, it makes me want to come back because I want that feeling again. So I want to like continue where that was and try to find the extra little thing.
Yeah, well, it happens all the time, especially when there's a few things where I have to go to people because I don't know, especially if it's a magic thing. Like I sometimes come up with ideas for magic, because I don't know many of them, like what they're called or who's created it. I show it to someone and go like, is this a thing? And people go like, oh yeah, this is, that's so-and-so's and it works like this. I'm like, oh yeah. I prefer my way though. It's just slightly real. I think my idea is good. But it is just an absolute crash where you go like, hang on.
I know.
Ding, boom.
It's like the carpet is being ripped out.
Yeah, just lying there, slightly winded.
I had that yesterday with TCC. They released a spirit bell, and then I released one that, like, I showed the photo. I was like, shit, I made that. The same thing, So I got into contact with them, and I'm like, you know what? You're able to make them way cheaper than what I could ever do. And they look super nice, like more power to you, just like congratulations, like you, fair play. But it's discouraging because well, it's not discouraging, I think, but I think is it synchronicity when multiple people seem to, that's just crazy.
I guess because you're working with the same well of knowledge, I guess it makes sense that like the 100th monkey principle where like a certain amount and then it's that sort of it's that sort of thing. And but it's that crash of just like oh yeah, but you shouldn't do really. You should feel delighted going like, especially if it's a product released in the magic world, it means you thought of an idea that's good enough that someone else made it and is selling it or something. Or someone's using it in a show or
it
whatever.
Means that you're on the right path for something else. Just don't stop there. Keep on going.
Exactly.
You world where now it is viable because someone did it. It is viable. Like if you legitimately found the idea yourself, keep on going and do something different. Like just do something different with it.
Yeah, exactly. And also if you're either trying to sell tricks or you're making stuff to perform or whatever, I like it when there's something released or whatever. I see someone use something and I like how the method works, so I'm going like, oh no, that's wrong. I think it should work like this way around.
Yeah, I know.
For whatever, because that's just personal preferences or whatever.
Do you ever tell the person?
I won't name any props. Depends. Not if it's like a trick that I see online that someone's selling, and I'll be like, oh no, that's bad. Because I understand the pipeline of how they got to that point. It's like, oh great, more power to them. If I did that trick, I'd do X, Y, Z or whatever. Yeah. But if it's like a friend or something, I can go like, oh, here's how I would do.
Yeah. Did you think of doing it like this? Yeah, because there's obviously a way of saying these things without damaging the ego too much, you know.
Yeah. But, it's like, I'm in a touring show. There's 5 magicians, and there's also a bunch of other people. So we all do different specialities. So that is champions of magic. So I'm the mentalist in it. There's Holly. She's done so many illusions and stuff. There's Young and Strange. We all have different pools of knowledge, about this thing. I'm trying to work on it. Or if we're in the show, we're watching a bit and go like, oh, I think they don't know that it looks dodgy if you do this or whatever, or there's a better way to do that. And because you work together, it's fine. You can just tell each other. Obviously, you have to choose the right moment. If it's been a bad gig for them, you're just like, now.
Step 2, the incubation. Now,
yes.
I usually started out to try and explain what incubation could be, and for some stupid reason I was like, like if you smoke a joint or drink wine, man, I said that and like some people like some people jumped on that like right away, Oh, of course, wine, just enough wine, just enough
just the right amount of wine.
It could be something else now.
Yeah. I have done that before, but it has been like, even if I've been on my own, because I travel a lot and I'm just alone in a hotel room. All right, I'm okay, everyone. It's like I'm gonna have a couple of glasses of wine because I need to just kind of loosen up the gears. I need to get in that heightened state of like I'm performing, which I feel just as giddy and my heart rate is up and my energy up and I can feel it going through my body. And just being sat in a hotel room, just staring at my iPad isn't going to help that. So it's just like have a couple of glasses of wine at the bar, come upstairs, get my notebook out. Right, okay, so I've got to do this, got to work on the lines for this. To kind of get you bubbling up and that sort of stuff. Or even just chatting with someone, just bouncing ideas. That sort of stimulation just keeps it going. But also the incubation period, because it also is incubation. I like it. Some people sort of sleep on it or settle on it. It's like, no, it's incubating. It's just sat there and it's just growing on its own at whatever phase. But that is kind of the most important part. I think I might. So when we chatted before,
you'd find that part is like one of the most important.
Yes, I say it's probably the most important in terms of creativity.
Like for you, do you have to sit down and say, I'm professional, I do this so many hours a day, no matter what? Like, do you say that, or you're like...
No, I don't really operate like that. I have tried that sort of thing. Like my partner, she's a writer. And like in the writing world, there's people who every day they write 1,000 words. Yeah. It doesn't matter what those words are, they just write them if they're working on a novel or a book or whatever. Some people just write for some chunk of time. And some people just kind of come back to it throughout the day. And it's like, whatever the process is for you, there's funny things you hear about, like someone likes writing in their kitchen, someone likes standing up and writing and whatever. It's whatever works for the person, I think. But for me, just having prescribed periods of time, this doesn't really work. Because normally when the ideas come or the solutions come for problems that you've created for yourself, it's at the least convenient time, and it's just like sometimes the well opens and then it shuts. So they're sitting there sort of ruminating and trying to think isn't really going to work. You can't be winning.
It doesn't work like that.
Think. No. So the incubation period, just let it sit there. I think I said this when we recorded before, which was there's a thing in learning lines or rehearsing like a play or any kind of script or whatever.
Oh yeah, you do. You're setting up your space a bit.
Oh no, it's this thing. If you keep fluffing a line, you keep getting it wrong. If you keep getting it wrong a couple of times, stop. Just move on to something else, because otherwise you're going to learn that mistake.
That thing,
brick wall, and then the neurons are going to be really solid to that mistake, and then you'll get that wrong every time now, forever.
Like practicing with cards. If you don't do it right the first time, you keep practicing it, you're going to learn the wrong way.
Yeah, but there's also like a rule in circus. My partner's also a circus performer. There's a rule in circus, usually like juggling or more dexterous tricks rather than the big stunts. Is if you get something wrong, if they drop, they have a rule of do the trick again. Keep doing it until you get it right 3 times in a row. And then you can carry on. But that's because that's muscle memory and
exactly.
drilling it in.
Yeah.
So that kind of works for that. But if something's not working, now you're working on a trick or an idea or a routine or anything, it's not really working, nothing's coming up, just leave it, move away from it. You'll come back to it later, or do that thing of saying like go for a walk or whatever it is, that thing you need to do to switch your thinking brain off and let it just percolate at the back of your head, and then you'll come back to it and go, oh yeah. It'll suddenly be so easy. So the incubation period is the most sort of vital time, really, I think, for the trick to kind of grow itself.
Yeah, for sure. And does it take a long time for you? For like, let's say if you dedicate some time, like your mental energy towards one problem, does it take a long time before you come to a solution, or it really depends?
Really depends, because sometimes ideas sort of come fully formed, and then you just slightly doubt yourself and try and find what's wrong. But like I'm working on a new thing for Champions of Magic. I say new, it's been in the show for a little while. I've been working on it for ages. And it's an idea I've had for years, but now it's going to fruition. More of a concept I had for years. But it wasn't really working. Tried it a few times. Scratch that, let's try it like this now. And I sort of dedicated little chunks of time to thinking about it. And it sort of plugged itself together quite easily now, because we've tried all the stuff that doesn't work. So it's like, I think I'm done. I think this happens. That's easy. That's that. Oh. Then I chatted with the producer, and it's like, that's good. How about this? How about we add this? Let's try this. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's done. I just have to try it now. I have to move on the rest of the creative process we're going to talk about.
The creative process, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I had more time set aside, so to speak, from like day to day, housekeeping and being a father and all that sort of stuff. I had dedicated certain time, and I just had too much of it. I was like, oh, what else can I think of?
Speaking of housekeeping, we have someone stepping into our home here for our little help with the housekeeping. So, ça va bien?
Oui, toi?
Ah oui. Dans le fond, on avait dit peut-être pour les chambres en premier, c'est ça? Ou,
Elle m'avait dit le sous-sol.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Puis après ça, en haut, tu vas finir ici, quoi?
Ouais, ça, avec l'aspirateur, peut-être en dernier, si c'est possible.
Ouais.
Ok, parfait.
L'aspirateur, tu parles pas de ici?
Ouais, mais dans le fond, je suis en train d'enregistrer quelque chose.
Je vais faire le sous-sol, puis après, on va...
Merci beaucoup. That's my French.
Ah, très bien.
Très bien. Oh no, you're even better because you had that nom de plume.
Nom de plume. Yeah, I know tiny bits of French, but if it's conversational, I'm just like, quoi? Or you just go, d'accord. If you don't know what they're saying, you just go, d'accord.
Well, with that English accent, it's usually you can cut through anything and be charming, so it usually helps.
That's true. Well, only in French Canada, in France, they're not so keen.
So with the incubation, like basically it's been marinating and everything, then it's trying to have Eureka, the illumination moment. I've discovered something recently in regard to that, but I'll leave you elaborate first on that. When you have that moment, how do you experience that? Is that something where you have to stop everything, like no matter in the middle of the night, day, and you have to like absolutely go to that, or like how does that work for you?
Usually it's like make a make a note of it. Like I can have notes. I used to have like, look, I've still got them upstairs, like stacks of like little notebooks. But what those tend to be is just the same stuff written out over and over and over and over again. So it's not that useful. But like I have everything on my notes on my phone, and it goes to my iPad. It's everywhere. But I've separated them into groups. So I've got like trick ideas, show notes, certain routine ideas for other stuff. I've got like a list of titles that I just think, oh, that's a good title for something, for a show or a trick or
and we even
someone else's podcast.
Sometimes just for a title, you could have a whole.
Yeah, we even said about like I know some musicians, and sometimes just having a title for a song is enough to make you write the song because you're like, that's a good title for a song.
Yeah.
And yeah, normally it is a case of just if you can't deal with it right now, write it down in a form that you will understand in the future.
Yeah.
There's that classic thing of people waking up in the middle of the night, writing something down, going back to sleep, waking up in the morning, reading it and going like, what does that mean? Why did I write
I hate
3
that.
knives?
That is and it made so much sense at the time.
At the time, yeah.
Oh, this is so good. 3 knives. No.
Yeah. What state of alpha was my brain in? I thought this was a good idea.
You're speaking of the brain thing, and it's like that's what I actually discovered recently. There's like, have you ever had like where like that eureka moment happens, but you have all the structure like all understood? Like basically,
it comes and it's fully formed.
Yeah,
I have had that with various things.
Yeah, but not just once. Like you've had that like on a couple of occasions.
Yes.
You need to look at this thing online called Focus 12. It's a state. I didn't even know what that was. It's
I see.
State. And supposedly if you meditate in that specific way, it helps for you to be able to achieve that. Didn't I just say to not do the... I just said to not turn on
the vacuum?
Yeah. But hold on.
C'est bon.
Obviously wasn't that good. Okay, so I hate that when that happens, losing the train of thought. Well, basically, yeah, that's it. So it happens in its full form. So when you basically come to it, I've had that a couple of times, even just recently, where it's like the whole structure, it kind of just manifests itself. And there's even sometimes steps in there where I'm not even sure how I learned how to do that. Like,
is it just the kind of, is this that your subconscious has done it all and worked it all out, and then because of this state of mind the process that would have taken you a long time if you were just sat down and said a blank page, it's been truncated. So because your brain's worked it out for you already, it's just there's that thing, isn't there, about the subconscious mind is just giving you information as and when you need it. Otherwise, you'd have too much information all the time. Sort of, in that sort of, if this was a Hollywood movie and you could take a pill and
well, it almost feels like the information comes in condensed, and it's almost like like when you do like a 3D animation of like a motor coming apart and you see like how it's supposed to be put. It almost feels like that. Like I understand, and it all makes sense. It's just that. I didn't realize that. It was just that.
There it is.
Yeah,
like it sends it to you in compressed format. It's an MP3 of the idea, where it's got it in the raw Dolby.
Well, that's the thing. Now I find it's addictive. It's addictive because I would like to stay in that state often, and just like figure out things.
Because there are some people though I know who are really like creatives. I think it happens a lot with painters, visual artists, where they're just chasing that buzz of that moment of like, isn't it amazing?
And then I'm a genius, and then
I'm a genius. Another crash. Someone's already painted some fruit in a bowl. Oh no!
I know, so that is the life of the struggling artist. Isn't it beautiful? It's like
yeah, it's true. Yeah, exactly. Oh dear.
Oh, honey, like, I'm so misunderstood.
I was just thinking as well. That goes back to what I was saying before. Like, you see someone else with a method, for example, you go, "Oh, I'd have put it that way." Is the artist going like, "Oh, I'd have put the banana on the left, actually, in that bowl"? Okay, so basically, it's the same thing as what I'm saying.
Yeah. So you have that idea, it manifests, and you have that eureka. You took the time, you jotted it down, or you woke up. Now you decided, okay, I'm going to work on this. So you're basically exploring how you're going to develop your idea. Do you do multiple variations of the idea and see which, like, have them compete against each other? Do you have one main one and you kind of like dissect it and rebuild it? Do you enjoy showing it to other people to get input while you're trying to put it together?
Yeah, I guess like, it depends, I think. Also, I just remember something I was going to say about eureka moments. So to speak, you can't sort of try and force it. It doesn't always work.
No.
I was thinking about a prop recently that I wanted to make. So I just got all the similar props. It was a wallet. So I just got every magic wallet that I have, like all magicians, I have a lot, and just playing with them. And then I cut some up and stuck bits and just played around with it. And like, this is a semblance of an idea. And then I showed it to a friend, and then he said, "Oh, that's interesting. Maybe this. I'll chat to some other guys. Maybe," and then it can become something else. You kind of then can put the hive mind on it. But yeah, you can force that eureka moment if you're just get all the stuff. I was talking before. It's on my stagecraft thing of like to. I don't write scripts really. I don't, and it's difficult to rehearse stuff, especially when it's mentalism, because it's all about the byplay, the banter is the one. So you sort of force a situation by just setting up a makeshift stage in your living room. You just have all the props and you get all the stuff and go like, let's just play pretend for a bit and see, try avenues. But yeah, to work on something, it's different depending on what the thing is that I'm working on. But absolutely getting other people's opinions on something. I'd prefer to have got something to a point where I'm like, this is all, it's not done, but it's like, it's almost done. I have like, I'm making a birdhouse, and it's a box. It's got a roof and a thing and a stick. Yeah, that's a birdhouse right now. It could be better, but I'm tired and bored of this now. Can your brain have a look at that and then tell me what it thinks? Yeah, that sort of thing. Which you can also do by just looking up, especially if it's tricks. You've got millions of books and millions of DVDs, just looking at other people's ideas on the same idea, the same concept. You know, if you're doing cards across or something, just go look at other cards acrosses and think.
I'm thinking maybe now that I'm realizing while you're saying this, and I'm thinking about it at the same time, maybe the reason why, well, me, I'll speak about me, if I do that, maybe it's because I want to have approval on what I'm doing. Yeah,
I see what you mean, yeah. What, for asking other people or looking at other people's versions?
No, looking at other people, I'll just get a general gist of what if I'm on the right direction or not. But if I show it to someone else, I'm looking for approval unconsciously. If they do, like, I want to have some input to make it better. Yeah, my goal is to, if they say, "Stéphane, that does not make sense. Like, why did you do that?" And I'm like, "Fuck, that you're right." But at the same time, I want to be like the sole creator of that thing in a certain way. I like sharing.
You know what I mean? I'm quite precious about the.
Yeah. So I don't want to give too much input so that they say, "Well, you know what? It wouldn't have been that good if you." Like, I'd rather crash on my own. Sometimes. Sometimes. And sometimes I like collaborating, and then I'm open to like whatever. But I maybe indirectly sometimes I want to have the approval that I'm on the right thing, and that is good.
Right. I think it depends on the project or what it's for, whatever you're working on. So if it's something for Champions of Magic, my touring show, I'll always bounce it around with the producer. He's also like a good friend of mine, and also he's the one that's going to be in his show, not my show, just my bit in it. So I'd like him to like it. He's pretty good at like pushing, like make more, like making it. But also I can go like, no, that's too far now. We've added too many things, or I don't like that. Is a better way. But if it's for something to like release, you know, an Alexander Marsh project or product, I'd always like probably go to D or something like that. D Christopher, who runs the 1914, and be like, "Is this good? is this a thing that people would like or buy? And normally the answer is like, oh, that's cool. And then here's half a dozen ways to make it sort of more viable for other people. Like if I make something for me, it's only for me. I mean, like it was his idea. There's a trick I released called transfer by Penguin Magic.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it's 5 notes in your hand folded up. You can count them as 5, or you can show there's only 3. Really simple. And I used that as a 50-50 prediction of like the audience guessing. In my hand right now, is it $60 or is it $100? And I can show them to be correct or wrong at will. And he looks at it and was like, yeah, this is really cool. You could do a money across routine with that. I mean, well, like cards across, but with cash. Yeah, is that a thing? He went, sort of. And it turned out that's a brilliant method for it. I didn't think of it. It's just using a gimmick that I came up with. And it's quite a popular routine in terms of all the stuff I sell on Penguin Magic. But I think because it's also a magic trick rather than just a very specific mentalism trick. But just like for a product to release, I would never do it like that in the show because I don't perform magic. It would suddenly be weird if I was taking an object from one place to another. Well, having said that, the thing I'm working on for Champions, I could actually use that. So I'm just going to make a note.
Hey, well, we were talking here, so I am part of that idea. We'll discuss some of these later.
Credit magic sound. There we go. That's it. I'm going to do the thing I said before, which is don't just write trans. So what I wrote was
you weren't bullshitting. You actually do it like that. It's live.
In the section for this routine, I have just written transfer. But if I look at that in 6 weeks' time, I'll be like, what's that about? Transfer for cash, not cards. Because also in a big magic show, like that, the producer doesn't want card trick after card trick after card trick. So if we come with a card trick, he'll be like, what else can we use instead of the cards? Because otherwise you don't want to go see a big theatre magic show that has like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of like lights and stuff, and then just do 8 card tricks. No one wants to see that, so do something else.
I get you there.
That was funny.
It's funny we were able to catch that little moment. See, so that's.
It's because also because I'm on my iPad talking to you. He just messaged me with an idea. I sort of glanced at it. Like, oh, he's talking about that. I'll come back to it later. And that was the solution for that. So there we go.
There you go. So that's just the proof too that, like, I was saying earlier about working 9 to 5 specifically for one thing. Like my background is in advertising agencies and marketing and research and development. Those are offices that you go in from 9 to 5, you know? But your brain doesn't create 9 to 5. It works all the time. You know what I mean?
It was the factory that created the 9 to 5.
Doesn't work at all.
No, I know of some magicians who are very successful, do very well, and they decided they left their normal jobs to pursue the magic because it's going well. But they had like office hours, like they did like 10 till 4. They'd go to the office, so to speak, like one of their extra room, and then try and work. But it's just like that's not really how it works. Certainly not for creativity, but and maybe I can't imagine most.
Because by the time you hit the threshold, it's 5 o'clock. You're going to stop maybe sometime mid-processing something, and if you try to pick it up the next day, it might even be gone. Yeah,
exactly. Like it's that thing of like you can't just stare at a blank. The blank page and go.
So you have that idea, you trimmed it down, it's viable. Step 5 would be the implementation. Is that something? Well, I think it is. You kind of explained that just now. You have your own line of products and stuff, so you're able to. When you render something down for it to be viable, you have the possibility. For you, I see that the challenge is not just finding the solution to the puzzle, it also can have a life of its own, you know?
Yeah.
Is that something that it took some time for you to, like, how did that come about? Because I'm guessing it must be a risk at first. Is that something that I'm going to release my own tricks first? I'm going to show them to people? Does someone say, that's great, let me produce it for you? How does that go about?
Well, in terms of like tricks that I sell, where did that come from? I guess because like early on, several years ago, like I released some books because self-publishing is very easy now online, just lulu.com or whatever, or releasing PDFs and that sort of stuff. Yeah. But and then again, like I have a on my site, I have a couple of things which I just shot myself. It was during the pandemic, so couldn't go anywhere. But it's even easier to make a video now and have a Vimeo account and then release it without, which even like 10 years ago would be extremely hard to be able to do that. But in terms of sort of getting out there in the world, like a trick that I want to sell, it depends on, where was I going with this before? Oh, it was, how did I start? Yeah, I just wanted to release some stuff. I guess what you were saying before, of like validation of people going like, you're clever, aren't you?
Yeah.
And it does feel good. Like, and then it's also like, because you sell it, it's money. That was like, it was useful during the pandemic when everyone was locked down, there were no shows.
Yeah.
The way I'd been making a living from touring in another country had just gone suddenly. So it was just like, okay, I've got this stuff, I haven't released anything for a while, let's release these things now. But if it's going to go to a wider market, so if it's through 1914, for example, or Penguin, that's a much bigger magic market than just if I just put it on my little website and put out something on my mailing list, which only has, it's this big compared to the Murphy's mailing list or whatever. Like a few little people who like my stuff might buy that thing, or
it's exposure. I mean, you are paying, like you're giving a part of your profit for them to do that, but at the same time, they're placing you on a stage where you
100%.
get discovered by other people.
I was saying that to like the producer of the touring show I'm in, as Alex McAleer. It doesn't really operate in that world. He buys tricks and stuff, but when I said like, oh, you get a percentage, is this amount from Penguin? He's like, that's not very much. I said, yeah, but they sell quite a lot. Like Penguin's quite a big thing. You've heard of Penguin,
Yeah.
But yeah, it is exposure to go to a bigger thing like that. Like I was just at Magic Live in Vegas with the 1914. It was me and Dee with a couple of the products of the 1914. And because
the wallets are special, so Wednesday wallets.
Yeah, is that still going to be a thing when you release this? It's a mad deal. They're doing like half price.
I agree.
So I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Can I? Well, I was going to say I have to do that, but then I have my, this is the Shadow wallet, and Dee just gave me this one because I'm his friend. You know the right people. It's just people were coming up to me and they're like, if they knew who I was, they're like, oh, I love this. Like the tarot card trick was there.
Yeah.
Or 1914, or Dee rather, has his own set of ESP cards, and then people have bought my ESP cards, which are slightly different. And then they'd ask me like, oh, I really like your ESP cards. What are these? Are these your ESP cards? But some people would know me from other stuff. Like we used to do a meet and greet for Champions of Magic. So after the show, we'd be out in the lobby and we'd be like, hi, we can line up and have a photo if they want. We can sign something like we're famous. And but sometimes it's happened.
You're like the Darren Brown.
It's happened like 2 or 3 times. Someone would come along and then they'd obviously been sat there the whole show going like, this guy seems familiar. He's Alexander Marsh. I didn't know. Oh. They'd come up to me and think, you released this? I was like, yeah, that's me. I had no idea. Because Alex is not like lots of people would be called Alex.
Yeah.
But it was just funny, just the fact that it does expose you, but people still don't know who you are. Everyone, like, I've stood next to Dee Christopher. Like, everyone, if you've ever seen Dee Christopher, you're like, he's that guy with the big hat.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, he's like I'm imagining he dresses like that all the time. No?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
His
like,
house
that's
is, how you imagine. The walls are black.
Yeah, like the eyeliner.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, like he looks like he's like that all the time.
Yes, 100%. Whereas, like, if you see me performing on stage, I'm normally dressed in slightly vintagey.
Yeah.
Like, I have high-waisted trousers and a waistcoat or suspenders, And I used to have the curly moustache, but I got rid of it. But if you see me in normal life, I'm wearing my, like, Skeletor Live, Laugh, Love t-shirt. Like, I'm wearing shorts. Like, I don't really look like the guy you might see on stage.
No, but the thing is, like, you present yourself, it's you, your personality, but just amplified a bit. It's not like
on stage, yeah.
And, it's not all that.
No, yeah. I get that compliment a lot. It is a compliment. When people are like, so you on stage and you off stage, it's basically the same, isn't it? I was like, yeah, it is.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that way better because well, I don't know if when you go out into like a civilized world, I call it like that now. Do you like to like play around with people, like when you like strangers or at a restaurant? Do you like fool around with people sometimes, or because I find
what freak them out with tricks or
yeah.
Already, I hate socially performing. Like, I cannot stand it. I can be persuaded, especially if I'm. It's like if we're on tour and we're in a place for a little while. People in the area, like if we're in a hotel, casino thing, people will say like, "Hey, great show last night," or "I knew that guy from the poster over there." So therefore, having a shallow wallet means I can go name a card and I can do something.
Yeah.
But just like with friends, I used to a little bit more perform for like casually, like friends of friends, or you meet new people and stuff. Especially when the conversation starts coming around about what everyone does and stuff. Yeah. And I'm normally going like, I have lied before. Like I get a lot of Ubers, and I'm just like the British accent in North America. They're kind of like, "Why are you here?" Especially if it's in the middle of nowhere.
Why are you here?
They start to, and if we're going to the theatre, they're like, "Is there a show on? Do you work at the theatre?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so, like sometimes I lie and say I'm with the crew or something, because they go like, "Oh, it's a magic show." I just am on the crew.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. I used to genuinely sort of mess with people a bit more, sort of in my late teens, early 20s, with weird psychology stuff.
I love that. I can't get enough of it.
Doing stuff like if you go to a coffee shop and you say, "Can I get like a small coffee?"
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You gesture big. They give you a huge thing, like, "Oh, that's for a small coffee." And they're like, "Oh, oh, you can just have it." It's normally what they say. So it's just.
No, but like do you know of Retina from Luch?
Retina. Remind me.
It's like the business card stack.
Yes. Is it a peak with business cards? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I do that, and that thing that I showed you last time, where like kind of like the body language reading.
Yeah.
But like, let's say we're in renovations, and if I go to the plumbers to be able to like buy the fixtures for everything, and I do that to the sales guy, like the first thing, like the first thing, like, "Hi, I'm Stéphane. Think of a name." Oh my God, that is like they're traumatized. Sometimes they can't even work after.
I have done that. When we're like in a restaurant, like early on in Champions of Magic Life, Faye Presto, the legendary British magician, she's been working for years. We're just in a restaurant, start doing stuff, the waiting stuff. Yeah. And like the reason she's doing it is she enjoys it, and also because often the food becomes free magically for her, or whatever. Or it's not even networking to possibly get a gig. It's just you might get something out of it. Like my son, we were staying in Canada, in Toronto, for some shows, and we kept going back to this vegan burger place, and another shop, and just because he was a cute kid with a little British accent, hello, they gave him like a free cookie every time and stuff. And there was one shop where we kept going to, and they said, "Hey, do you want this fidget spinner?" And it was because when fidget spinners were kind of a bit more of a thing, and he just got given a fidget because he was a cute kid. I'm like, yes, I should do magic because then socially, because then get some free stuff. No,
you do. I'm telling you, like with my girlfriend and stuff, it's just like, and they always ask my girlfriend if she's afraid of me.
Yeah, I get that a lot when or in interviews. Excuse me. They say like, "Oh, did you use your mind powers to get?" The guy's like, "No, because I'm not a creep."
I know that's like, do you understand that would be like not ethical at all? Like,
yeah, that's called gaslighting. What's wrong?
So you're basically telling me that if you could do this, that's what you would do. Like,
yeah, it says a lot about the person asking the question. Yeah.
Well, another fantastic conversation. It's always fun.
Pleasure. Yeah, I enjoy this. Like, we should do like other bonus episodes, just people chatting, or just me. I don't know. Although I have an idea for a podcast. I've got several ideas for a podcast, but one is I'll probably start soon. I bought a cheap little mic as well.
Oh, that's fun too. I find the dynamic of having that. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's also that sort of thing, especially if it's a niche magic-y podcast. You've got to find this is a lovely niche. I love this idea of exploring the one thing that we never really talk about in the magic world. It's like the creativity and the process behind it. Yeah. Normally trick reviews or interviews and stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's plenty of those. Like, no one wants another sort of interview magic podcast where it's just like, tell us about you. How did you get started?
Well, even you'll see like.
What's your favorite trick?
Hopefully, someone like I haven't put up anything yet. Then I explained why, because I want to be able to promote it well and structure it, and do the programming well. Like I'm lucky enough that people like you have joined and like had confidence enough in me to be able to show you my idea and you participating before seeing anything. There's a couple of people who have joined on, like great people. But there are obviously other people that I'd like to have on. And they're like, not another interview. Like, no,
But I always love this kind of style. I do a lot of press and PR for the touring. Like radio shows are dreadful because they're not really listening and they have to get to the next song.
Yeah.
TV things, everyone thinks it's exciting to be on a TV show, even if it's like a local news channel. But it's not. You've got 2 minutes and you can't do mentalism in 2 minutes and an interview and promote the show. But podcasts or video podcast, whatever. It's just a chat. It's that kind. It's a conversation where it goes off this way and it comes back this way.
And there's like even just like the last time, there's nuggets that do come out of this. We joke a lot about so there's insight on how things go in the industry. Sometimes it gives a window on. It's not all the glamour that people might think it is.
Yeah.
And you have to put on your pants one leg at a time, like everyone else. It's just And hopefully, like I was saying, if someone listens to this and they have an idea about maybe I should approach my creativity like this, or it makes sense that it takes time to get a good adjustment and be more patient with themselves. Great. That's the whole goal of this.
Yeah. Or maybe they hear something and they go like, I sort of do that. Maybe I should think about how I'm exploring creativity. Yeah, I'm a genius. Shit, someone can do it.
Again, it's so good because we always come back. It's like we always rebound, like, damn it, I'll find something else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true, yeah. Because you were saying I used to work in the graphic design and that sort of stuff. Yeah. Because I went to art school, which I never finished, but graphics is my thing. Like, I like composition and logos and making posters and that stuff. I'm not really into fine art as a doing thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it was my graphics tutor that sort of gave these little nuggets of things like, we had a visual diary. So just anything, we could draw anything we wanted. He encouraged me to leave and go pursue magic because I wasn't turning up. But he also said, get your own visual diary and any ideas you have for logos, tricks, methods, backdrops, just keep them in this one thing and show it to me occasionally if you want my opinion. It's good. But he also said something like, always, if you're working on a project, never throw an idea away because a failure on this project might be a success in the next.
The key to something else for sure. But then did you know that magicians have that and it's called the messy drawer?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is what it's that thing. Or it's just like the list of notes of ideas or it's just a catalogue of books that you have on your shelf where you just go back and go, there'll be something in here for this problem.
No, I know we were even discussing about that, like even the physical space reflecting like your mental space, and certain people need to have their shelves all neatly organized and certain people need to have their desks like with just like a shit ton of whatever going on. And it's the kind of thing, if you clean up that desk, you screwed up everything.
Yeah, I remember, what was it? My grandparents used to be architects, garden designers. Mm-hmm. And then they had a cleaner for a while, apparently, and they cleaned it all.
Oh, that is awesome.
I wasn't around for this, but my granddad apparently was furious because it was I mean, it's true you can point and I know where everything is because everything's labeled, but I was busy. I was doing I had paused my mind for a bit here. So when I came back, it was all, I can click play again, basically. Yeah.
Well, we'll speak soon. Hopefully, I know I gotta go and see how much it's gonna cost to the package I'm gonna send you. Oh
yeah. Have you been to the post office?
I didn't yet. I'm gonna go today.
I see.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's like a teaser for the next interview.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm gonna get maybe your approval. So there again, that's gonna end perfectly the session. I'm gonna be able to get your approval, so my ego is gonna feel a little bit better. I'm gonna feel that you're gonna have a approval, and you're gonna say, Stéphane, didn't you think of doing it that way? And I'm gonna be, I'm not a genius.
Oh, this is like that thing that someone came up with 30 years ago.
Yeah, I know. I didn't reinvent the wheel. Don't worry, I know that. It's just maybe the finishing on it, the aesthetics of it. That's maybe more my thing.
I see. Yes, I see. I know exactly what you mean. Also, remember when you were telling me about the pad, the board? Yeah. I was like, how small can you write? Because that was my thing. Because all of them, it's like, how small? Because if you hand someone something and it's this big, and you hand them a pen, and there's always like once in 100 times they're going to go, not out of spite or like to mess you around. They're just like, oh yeah, I write this down. I write small.
No, you can write incredibly small. In the worst case, you could zoom on your end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's just it's the fidelity of the images.
Oh no, it's incredible. The detail is like, it's honestly really good. It's a great tool, but for professionals. It's not just like for you. It'd be incredible, you know. Or someone like just think of this because I'm working with this other person here. Do you know Michel Huot? He did a trick called socks. It's basically a cardboard.
Yes.
So that gentleman, we're from the same city, and like he wants to have one of those tablets, you know. But the things that we're looking to make them smaller, you know, hopefully, and
because sort of the walk around performer, it's know if it's too big. But as I work on stage, I want it big. You know, and it's like, no, I want to give them a marker and they can do something big or whatever it might be.
But what I was just going to say is that if you do one ahead, like if you have that and you give it to a table, like if you're doing walk around and you give it to the table before you get there, like saying, fill this out, like you have information that to fill, and I'm going to get to you after I finish with this table. Do you all the one ahead?
You're just doing a one ahead pre-show basically for each table as you go around.
It's a nightmare for the people. It's like
I'm always envious of like code acts. Like I was hanging out with Imagine Guys, the sentimentalists, who are they're from the other bit of Canada, but just they can just do it at the drop of a hat, and they do it all the time. And as a tinkerer, I'm like, okay, so I think it's a visual cue and a verbal thing. And what is it? Are they cueing sonic sounds? Or like what's? They wouldn't tell me because.
It's everything.
It's the secret. It's everything. But I'm just
it is everything.
Also
it's
the way they don't.
It's sneezing. It's touching. It's body language. It's everything.
It's also, but they don't have to go like, could you write this down? He just goes, come over here.
Yeah.
Could you name a celebrity this time? And then the spectator names a celebrity, and he goes, Steffi. And she goes, Alan Rickman or something. He's like, what the fuck?
I know, but even the just step right here could be, I'm going to force a watch. And that, like instead of saying my partner, look at this, like whatever those introductions are, all the code before even getting to like the
before even getting to it and stuff. There's a million things, but it's just that sort of that's what puts me off performing casually. I was talking about is that it's not good. It's not going to be good, guys, because in a controlled environment like in a stage show or I'm mingling, it makes sense if I have these envelopes on me or these billets or whatever. But casually, it's a bit like. Hang on, I have to get something special on my wallet. Hang on, and then do something. I'm like,
Well, that's my favorite thing. It's like everyday carry stuff. That's why I just from Luch. It's like I like that. It's like just cards and. Yeah,
I just joined a group. I think I was invited because Thy Will Be Done gets mentioned a lot, and there's a real world of like EDC. Every time I've seen that in the brackets of YouTube videos of like Lloyd Barnes, whatever. I'm like, how does EDC stand for? Yeah. Do they mean DMC? Like magician?
Yeah, no. Yeah,
it's like, it's everyday carry. But some people carry a lot of stuff.
No, but that's
walking around.
No, I used to do that. I used to have the bag, like the little bag. No. I mean, seriously, with a deck, right away, a deck of cards is not conventional for people to have day to day.
It might make sense if you're a magician, if someone goes like a magician and you bring out a deck of cards and it's a cool deck, like it's I have some here. If it's like a cool deck, they're like, oh, you've got some cool playing cards.
Like the 1914.
And like the 1914.
So the Providence deck, No, it's a great deck I have. I'm actually talking to expert playing cards now.
Oh, cool.
Is what your same guys? Is it them who did your cards?
Yeah. I wasn't involved in the cards. But they are pretty though. I know 1940. I know Dee's working on a marked. There's not a marked version, but a marked deck that's sexy and cool.
Yeah.
I just don't do enough card stuff. Like I wouldn't use these in a mentalism gig because I want them to look old and tattered and boring. Because
put them in coffee.
That's true. The gold might suit. I don't know.
No, that's not nice. Yeah. But like, see, the thing is, like, I do a little bit of cardistry, so whenever I practice, like all the time. So I have this back with me. So whenever you're just anywhere, if you do something, automatically people they'll look because it's just even the sounds. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a visual thing. Yeah.
you can tell if they want to see more or not. You know, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
You know, I want to do another series later on with like street magic and confidence and stuff like that. People just don't realize just the fact that you're going to go. You don't have to approach someone and say, "Do you want to see a trick?" Like you don't do that. You do something, and if they look at you, gauge it and reply. You know, it could be anything. Pulling your credit card out of your phone when you're paying, you'll see that the clerk is surprised. If you have time, you could do a trick. You know, a nice change, a nice color change. Someone will see it. If it's a kid, they'll look at you. The parent will turn around. You know, you could start something. There's ways to do it. You know, where you don't have to kind of like force it down people's throats. You know,
it's true. Like the mentalism version of that is something I used to do when you talk about messing with people, and I still sort of do it because like I tend to do that thing of just noticing stuff as much as possible, like looking to see if they've got a ring on. Yeah, just things, because then it can be that sort of. Like you'd write into an episode of The Mentalist or a House MD episode where you say something that hasn't come up yet. How would you know that? And you're like, oh, sorry, it's because I'm in my room. Or you know when you can just tell that if someone's going like this, people start to do this if they're looking for a pen. And if you just hand them a pen, or you say you're looking for a pen, or you say there's a pen there, you don't do the normal convention of like, are you looking for a pen? Well, no. You just cut to the end.
Like, phrase for them.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's because of your skills. It's like, no, I'm just a human being. So it's not really amazing. But
we were talking about that last time, and it kind of comes out like if you go and you perform, you kind of have to be in a heightened state because you're always getting all that micro information. If they think I feel like being in that heightened state all the time, they're crazy. I want to go out and be like natural, you know, like to turn that switch on. It requires effort a bit, and I don't want to always be like that, you know. Yeah,
that's true. Like I like doing this kind of like interview thing like this. It's because it's the stage me, but not all the way here. It's like somewhere down. It's not normal me just sitting watching an episode of Seinfeld. It's like it's that sort of, you know, I think of like I was saying that someone said the you on stage and off stage is basically the same. Just quieter is what they do. Like you're quieter off stage. It's like, yeah, because I can't go on stage and be quiet. Everyone's looking at me expecting to be entertained. You just bring it down.
Yeah, you have to turn
in normal life.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. To be in that heightened state of powers would be the same as being in sort of show business mode all of the time.
Yeah.
And I do know people like that who are in. They're just always extra, as the kids say. I'm just like, it's exhausting.
Too much.
I guess because I'm an introvert, and they're just sucking energy out. They're like energy vampires, but they're not boring and stuff.
Well, I find that's when people do that.
Yes, I think so. It's a kind of overcompensation. It's like it's like
they're putting a facade because they don't want to expose the real person. There's like and that's the perfect target to destroy.
Take him down.
You have issues with water.
And you sounds really insecure. You just say all the negative statements from behind things. You don't put any of the positive ones. You just say all the negative ones.
You've turned to magic because of your lack of confidence. You've been let down in the past. It's so harboring in it. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So, on this note, I'll leave you get back to your day. What time is it? It's like 2 p.m. No, it's 7.
No, other way. 6:15. Yeah, 6.
So almost almost happy hour.
Yeah.
Well, it's happy hour all the time in London.
That's true. Yeah. In London, it says happy hour, 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. One, do you understand happy, and do you understand hour?
I love that mentality. That's good.
Yeah.
Again, so many thanks, Alex. It's really great. I always enjoy chatting with you. You're a great, lighthearted person, and you're very generous. It's very kind, and taking the time to do it a second time around, you know, it's reflects really well on the kind of person you are. You're able to forgive. Give me a second chance.
It's also because I was just picturing like, I feel dreadful if I can record a thing and I'd be like, oh shit, it's no good. I'm going to ask to do it again. I'll be like, I'd feel bad. I'd be in your position, being like, oh no.
I didn't want to.
Hey, look, be level with you. It went wrong somehow. Don't worry about the details. Could you do it again? I'm like, of course.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, the worst case, it'll be like, no, I didn't have enough time. I won't name names, but there's one person I had an interview with, and I came in 30 minutes late because I had an unforeseen thing, and I got a load of shit dumped on me because of that. And how I had compromised his family and his child. For real. So it ended up being, so, and the person never wanting to talk to me ever again because of that, you know?
What? No. Well,
so it sucks because sometimes, like, this is someone I've been kind of developing that relationship over time because, you know, like, it's not because someone is online and has YouTube videos and has, like, let's say, thousands of people following them, that personality, they owe you that each time that you talk to them, like, you know them because you've discovered their personality.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's normal for them to not be a little bit distant with just anyone hitting them up with a project. So I can't usually just jump in. I don't jump in. I kind of like build a relationship and see if there's maybe something there to be worked upon. So it took a year to build that relationship. And I thought for sure that this person was like the personality that I kind of sized up. It wasn't that. So I kind of got sad at the end for not trusting my instinct. But at the end, things happen for a reason. And there's no hard feelings. I wish this person the best. But it's just surprising sometimes that even all your good intentions and the effort to try and do something, because it might look like nothing to do something, this project, it costs money to do it. Like if I put music to this thing, there's licensing, it costs money to do this thing, you know?
Yeah, and like, it costs like time and like time and money. But like,
it costs time, you know? And I have a family too with kids, you know what I mean? And it's like,
it's always funny when people list a bunch of things, you're like, yeah, that's a thing. It's like, oh, I had to do this to my kids. It's like, yeah, you're a grown up.
Exactly. If you commit to something, you just stick to it, you know? And in the worst case, you lost a bit of time in the interview and cut it short, but I found it like very, like a guillotine unilateral decision. And it kind of made me feel like I wasn't at that person's status, like, you know, like it was like a...
Yeah. That's how I was just thinking, I was going to say, like, it comes across as like, suddenly like, I was deigning to speak to you, and yet you insulted me by saying, what is this? You challenge me to a duel now? What's going on?
So I'm like, whatever, you know, so move on. And you brought my spirits up. So that's it. So thanks again for everything. I'll get back to editing and send you a draft promptly.
Cool. Do it. And I'll probably skip through it because I can't stand watching and listening to myself. I've done too much of it. Like I used to edit vlogs and also my own like video lecture. I'm just like, God, so bored of me. Well, it's very sweet. I did a podcast, the Deceived Reality podcast, and my son, who's actually 13 in July, he said, "What's the podcast? Can I have it on?" Because he listens to podcasts. He said, "Can I listen to it?" And I went, "Yeah, sure." I subscribed to him, and he was like, "That's really good." I was like, "Oh, that's sweet." He was sat for an hour to hear me talk, and I talk to him all the time. Like we homeschool him, so I'm talking to him all day. He wanted to hear me talk about something else, you know.
It's a different perspective because even my children, when they look at that, they kind of don't look at it the same way that they're looking at me just live.
Yeah, you put it around there. Like I've been on a big children's TV show here a couple of years ago now. Like it's called Blue Peter. It's the longest running. It's the longest running TV show, kids TV show. Get a little badge when you're on it. It was a big deal for my 12-year-old me in my mind.
Well, yeah.
But like it was, Jack watched it. There's a little clip of him, and because I was in the we have children's BBC, CBBC, and I did it like I introduced like a cartoon because I went to the studio to promote that I was going to be on Blue Peter later, and it's just a little clip of him going, because suddenly like Daddy was in the thing he watches all the time.
Yeah,
that's weird. That's Daddy. He's right there in my world.
Yeah,
I think he knows that I go away and tour and do stuff and do TV, but because it was one of his things, he was just like, "You must be famous." He was like, he goes like, he does often start a conversation by going, "You're famous, aren't you?" Like, well, magic famous, maybe, but not.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's funny.
So hopefully, some of that fame will rub off on some other viewers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I listen to Alex and now I'm a genius.
I hope you're prepared for literally the tens of viewers that I will bring.
Well, listen, I've got 20 viewers on my channel now, so, you know, it's nothing. I'm only going to release this when I hit like the 50 mark, you know, like the hot 50.
Yeah. I stopped doing vlogs and stuff because they just weren't getting enough views for me to feel like bothered to keep recording, editing, finding music. I was like trying too hard really in the vlog.
Yeah.
Because I like when it's nicely produced and stuff, but I'm just like, no, I can't be bothered anymore.
Well, that's my part now. That's my job, is to take this and make it aesthetically pleasing.
And chop it up. And yeah.
Well, the interviews I leave raw, you know, like that's just natural. Like whatever happens, it's fun. And even skipping when from one thing, like earlier you said, like if we go back to I'm going to be able to animate that. So it'll be like, you know, let's say we switch topics.
Oh, nice.
But that's cute. It's cute. You know, it makes it more fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it also makes it more visually compelling to watch. Like a lot of video podcasts, so to speak, it's just people talking into mics. Why would anyone watch this? I listen to it, but why would anyone watch this?
Yeah.
But when I have seen a few when they do clips after to promote their podcast and they've got an animator to do something, or they just cut in visuals or something, it's like, that's much better.
No, of course, yeah. I try to decorate it a little bit, and also, like you say, have like little images that kind of relate to what we're talking about. So that's kind of like it's more dynamic, you know, a little bit more dynamic. And
also for editing, it means you can cut between stuff, doesn't it? You don't have any jump cuts, then you can switch between. Yeah, it's like a transition, for people who aren't thing. Yeah, I just had, I took the time to learn more properly Premiere. I don't know if you played with that. Yes, I used to use Premiere.
It's the first time. Jesus Christ, I almost freaking like the buttons and the levels, and it's like intimidating at first, you know?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And then I got rid of my laptop because it's really old and just used an iPad Pro. And you can't get Premiere. Well, if you could, it would be rubbish because all their iPad apps are terrible. But LumaFusion is what I use on this. But it was a complete relearning curve because everything's different. Different labels, different things. Different input because it's a touchscreen and a pen. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I know. But see, all those things...
But then this house cost me the same as it cost me for 1 month. But anyway, apparently.
No, that's you're saying exactly. It's like you have to have multiple talents to be able to do all these things. Yeah,
that's the thing, isn't it? You have to be, like if you're a performer, you're the writer, director, creator, stylist. You have to make websites. Like I still make my own website, but when Web 3.0 came out, I'm like, I'm lost now. Can't do it. This is no longer the CSS and HTML. But I taught myself HTML because I could make a website then, or graphic design skills helped with making business cards or logos or whatever. So yeah.
Well, again, so many thanks, and I'll be touching base soon for you.
Cool. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Take care.